Hello, it's me, your friendly neighbor graphic design teacher. So to kind of continue with our Photoshop review, we're actually going to backtrack to a project you guys might have done in IMP. That's the Name and Fire project. However, you can clearly see I have not been working with fire. This project is a really great way to review layer styles and some of their effects and masking and some of the other things I've noticed will be on the Adobe certification test. So we're going to try this project again, but with a different spin. This time, one, I'm not going to be giving you the step-by-step, set this number to 78, set the density to 29. No, you're going to find what works for you in whatever element you choose. That's right, you don't have to light your name on fire. If you want, you can dunk it in the ocean just like I did. However, the possibilities are endless. You could do ice, you could do electricity, you could do plants, whatever you're into. It is going to be your challenge to figure out what settings work best for your chosen element. You do, however, have to do your name, whether that's first or last, whichever works better for you. If your name is only 3 letters long, you might want to think about doing your last name or doing both, up to you. That said, I obviously did not start like this. You're going to start with a Photoshop document. I don't really care what particular pixels it is, as long as it's not super tiny and as long as it's a rectangle that's horizontal. Before I do anything, depending on your element, if you're doing something like air or clouds, you might want a white background, but for the most part, you're going to want a black background, so I'm going to just invert my background with Command-I. Boom, it's black. Next, usually I let you be choosy about your fonts, not this time. It is particularly important for messing around with these layer styles so you can actually see the effect of them that you use a font that has thick letters. So we're going to be using Impact, everybody's favorite meme-based font. And I'm just going to type my name, this is Basham, and I'm going to switch to my move tool, hit Command-T, and drag that sucker out until I get a nice size. Cool, that's mostly centered. Very helpful smart guide popping on up. And now I'm going to mess around with the layer styles. In prior times, when you first did this project in IMP, you had to do this letter by letter. That takes too much time. I'm not going to make you select each letter and paste it and then merge it all again. No, you can apply it as one. That was mostly to teach you how to select stuff and how to merge. But you already know how to do that. That's pretty easy, straightforward stuff. So when I am asked to apply a layer style, that can be found way over here, right next to our mask button. It says FX for layer effects. And I'm going to click on that. Blending options, for the most part, you're going to leave towards normal. I'm not going to be messing with bevel and emboss, but if you choose something like steel, that might be important for you. You can mess with stroke and all the other ones. For the most part, for this one, I'm going to be using satin. I'm going to be using outer glow, drop shadow, might use stroke, can't remember. Gonna have to double check. I really like drop shadow, can you guys tell? Color overlay is important. Inner glow is importante. And I think that's it for the most part. So let's go ahead and get a rolling. I'm actually going to start with my drop shadow. Depending on your element, this may or may not be useful to you. I'm going to go back in here and hit the plus sign, and I'm going to mess with these until I get something I like. My chosen element is water, so I'm sticking with something in kind of this blue family. It's not going to show up super hardcore on the water, as you can tell or on the black background. As you can tell right now, this is pretty, sorry, I went to check the time. This is pretty thin, so I'm actually going to, spread the distance out. Size, and you can mess with the opacity too, glowy bits. A little bit dark. And if I want to, I can make it white, if that makes more sense for my project. I think actually white is going to make more sense for this, because I want my letter edges a little bit softer because it's water. And you can change the angle. Spin me right round, like a record, baby, right around downtown. And now I've got a very, very slight drop shadow. And I'm going to continue into my layer effects panel. And I'm going to mess with, I think, it's my blend mode next. Blend mode. I'm going to change the color on that. Wait, no, I'm still on drop shadow. Sorry. Next part is going to be color overlay. That's what's important. There we go. I've already got a nice light blue. I need to actually go into that. Maybe I want a little bit darker. I don't want to go too dark because water has a certain transparency to it. If you choose an element that is transparent, which most of them are, except like earth, you're going to want to keep that in mind when you're choosing your overlays. And once again, there are all sorts of different settings with that. You can change the opacity. The more I bump it up, the less the white shows. I think I like that. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Next, we're going to satin. Satin is kind of like this outer edge, I think. Oops. You can play with the angle of that. Don't really care for that. You can do gradient overlays. All sorts of thingamajigs. I don't think I used gradient overlay in my last one, though. And again, as with all of the other stuff, you can change the distance on your satin. Now mine looks real blocky. That actually looks kind of cool. I'm digging that. Kind of like the wave marks. I'm really into that. I might change my color overlay to match that, actually. Make it lighter. That's the wrong direction for lighter. I have not had my second cup of coffee. Cool. Still doesn't look watery, though. So we're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep adding stuff until I enjoy what it looks like. So now it's time to go to Inner Glow. Ooh. I'm into that. You can change softer or more precise. Choke just means how far in does the glow go? That's too much. Let's back it off. Size is, again, how big. This is cool. This is maybe a little too bright, though. I'm actually going to change my blend mode to something else, maybe overlay, a little bit softer. Vivid light, obviously, is very vivid. Hard light is hard. Soft light, gentle. I think overlay was probably the best effect there for me. I'm pretty pleased with that. So, if you were doing this one letter by one letter, say I wanted to, say I'm like, oh, I need to add a new text, like another piece of text, but I don't want to go through and check all of those again. So say I have my text. As we all know, it's true. I am, in fact, a glorious disaster. And I know who I am and appreciate who I am. If I wanted to do exactly what I had done to all of that, all I got to do is click on my layer, hit copy layer style, go to my other layer, control click, whoops, not that, right click on that, maybe control right click because my mouse is dumb, and you would hit paste layer style, which is hiding from me. I'm going to pull a door on you guys. Can you guys see paste layer style? It's grayed out. You know why it's grayed out? Because this isn't rasterized. Let's go ahead and rasterize thine text. And we'll do the same thing over here. Rasterizing your text just makes it untextable. You can still edit your layer styles. However, at some point we will flatten those and rasterize those too, but not right now. So all you got to do, copy layer style. And if I really hated everything, I could clear it. Now I should be able to paste my layer style. Yep. Boom. Same thing now.